Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Max Diversity Film Festival Awards. I'd like to welcome everyone who's joining us online this afternoon and on Facebook Live. My name is Rachel Marangozov, and I'm delighted to be your host this afternoon to take you through an absolutely fantastic lineup of finalists and to announce the winners of the 5 categories of film that we have. I'm really excited to be here because this is exactly the sort of work that I'm personally very passionate about. That is work that enables people with a migrant background to share their own voices and experiences in order to shape the narrative around migration and diversity in Europe. Why is this important? Well, Europe is now more diverse than ever before. We are more diverse in terms of gender, sexual orientation. We are an older population. We are a more neurodiverse population. And yes, we are more diverse in terms of the ethnic and the migration background of our citizens, particularly given the recent influx of refugees and migrants in recent years. And yet it is the voices of these very people that are often missing from key discussions, from mainstream narratives, and from the sheer amount of noise that can often surround a topic like migration. This is despite the fact that we know they have the most awe-inspiring and the most compelling stories to share. The kinds of stories, the kinds of voices that have the greatest potential to build meaningful connections with different communities, to build empathy amongst our communities, and to enrich the societies in which we all live. And so as we go through this afternoon's awards ceremony, I do hope you will join us in, yes, recognizing and celebrating the extraordinary talent of these filmmakers, but also that you will join me in amplifying their work through your own channels, your own networks, both during the ceremony and also afterwards. On the topic of connections, I would like you all now to take a very quick moment to look at your screen and find the poll button. It should be in the bottom right-hand corner underneath your chat box. We are going to launch a very quick poll to find out where you are watching us from. So if you are to click on that button now, it will take you to a question which will ask you from which city / country are you watching us now? Obviously, we're doing this online. We can't meet in person, but this is the closest we're going to get to an icebreaker. So if I could ask you all to click on that button. I'm afraid if you're joining us on Facebook, we couldn't launch the poll on Facebook, so I'm sorry you can't participate in that. But for everyone else, if you could just take a quick moment to click on the polls and let everyone know from where you are joining us, that would be really lovely, because I'm sure we would all like to know how diverse and how widespread and international this audience actually is. I myself am hosting from London, and it feels a very appropriate city to be hosting a diversity ceremony from. We are one of the most ethnically diverse cities in the world. We have over 300 languages that are spoken here. And in the last census in 2011, 37% of Londoners said that they were born outside of the UK. 25% of which were born outside of Europe. So I think it's a pretty special place, but then I would say that, wouldn't I, being a Londoner myself. So I hope that my rambling has given you a few minutes to fill in the polls. If you haven't, please quickly do so now. And I would ask in a few minutes for the results to come up onto the screen. Oh, so we have a very strong Brussels contingent. We have someone from Washington, Switzerland, India, Italy, Spain. How wonderful. Let me just move my camera so I can see that. Amazing. And of course, I'm sure that the audience is actually more diverse than this, because we cannot take into account where our lovely Facebook live crowd are joining us from. So amazing. And it's amazing because we had 477 submissions, I believe, for this competition. And they came from 82 different countries, 82, which I think is amazing. So it's lovely to see that some of that diversity is represented here today in this audience. So thank you for taking the time to fill that in. Someone from Switzerland as well. And a very warm welcome again, wherever you're joining us from, to this ceremony. As I mentioned before, there is a chat function on your screen. So if you would like to make a comment or you have a burning issue you'd like to raise during the ceremony, then please do feel free to use that function. I'm now going to run through the order of today's program. In a moment, I'm going to be handing over to Patricia, who is going to give a short background to the Max project and to the Max Diversity Film Festival. We will then hear some keynote speeches from our jurors, who will give some overall impressions as to the quality of the submissions that they received and what it was like to be on the judging panel. We will then launch straight into the announcement of the categories of finalists and winners. We will start off with the amateur short film category. We will then announce the finalists and winner of the amateur long film category. And then we'll take a short break at 3:50 for 10 minutes. And we will come back for the second half at 4 o'clock, where we will announce the last 3 remaining categories of finalists and winners. They will be the professional short film category, the professional long film category, and the audience award category. And then we will close at 4 o'clock. So I do hope that you will stay with us for the full 2 hours, because I can promise you that we will be showcasing the most amazing talent this afternoon. Amazing because, yes, the films are great and the filmmakers and everyone involved were very talented, but they also managed to put this together at a very challenging time for all of us. I think when most of us were struggling to get out of bed, let alone find any ounce of creativity, these filmmakers have come together to put together the most incredible body of work. So please do stay with us. And without further ado, I'm now going to hand over to Patricia Martinez from AEIDL. AEIDL is a partner of the Max project, and she is in charge of local engagement. Patricia will give us a brief background as to the Max project and the Max Diversity Film Festival initiative. Over to you, Patricia.
Thank you, Rachel. Good afternoon, everybody from Brussels, from Italy. Good morning from those in Washington, and good maybe evening from those in India. As Rachel said, I'm Patricia Martinez. I work as a project manager in AEIDL, the European Association for Information Local Development, based in Brussels. We are one of the 20 partners of the Max project, Maximizing Migrants' Contribution to Society, that is funded by the European Union. So before we jump into the most exciting part of this awards ceremony, I wanted to give you a little bit of background, as Rachel said, of the Max project, because it's the project behind this initiative we are celebrating today, the Max Diversity Film Festival. So the core vision of our project, as the name reads, is that migration contributes enormously to our society's culture and economy. The integration of people with migrant backgrounds, refugees, asylum seekers is essential, first and foremost, to guarantee their human rights protection and the community cohesion in the host countries. But besides that, there is proof that migration is beneficial and has been beneficial, among many other things, to boost economic performance, address skill gaps and shortages, or fight against the population in Europe. However, we can see how migration is very often understood, communicated, reported only in the front of a crisis. and how a big part of mainstream media and politicians reinforce and amplify this message of crisis, fear, and danger. And these discourses generate a very negative environment. They do not offer a whole picture at all of what migration as a natural phenomenon that has always existed is about. And for sure, they don't speak about the people or the migrants behind those migration movements. This makes it more challenging for newcomers to integrate in their new countries, and they for sure dehumanize the people behind migration. So here is where the main objective of our MAX project appears. Our goal during these last 3 years has been to try to challenge and to change these narratives around migration. Why about all this about narratives? Well, a narrative is not just an individual message that somebody sent or post. There's a whole framework, a whole narrative, a whole story created in the society. And narrative matters because they influence how people think, and therefore they can lead to certain actions. So if we are all the time communicating to the audience this message of crisis, fear, and danger, or that even that migration can be a threat to our societies, they will have the feeling that there is anything positive about migration, and they might even forget that there are actual human beings behind us, because these narratives, we said, dehumanize people. So to challenge these negative narratives, what we've been doing in the MAX project. So the MAX partners have been working in 3 main angles. The first one is research. We've been funding a lot of evidences, researching and disseminating not only figures and facts about the positive contribution for development and for enriching our societies that migration has brought, but also sharing real stories of people. There is this button, I think the Visit Us button in the platform, where you can be redirected to the MAX project website and find all the research reports, policy recommendations, success stories, also bad experiences from what we can learn about migration. The second key pillar of our project is communication. We develop a curricula, and we've been training media professionals and students, almost 100 individuals for 20 EU member states, on how to counterbalance wrong stereotypes and prejudices when reporting about migration news. And again, this curricula and this series of articles produced by the media professional and the students are available in our website. And the third one was engagement. So creating encounters among native-born citizens and newcomers, basically to come together, interact, share experiences, and have joint debates about common interests that unite us. So storytelling, creation of more nuanced messages for the media, and these dialogic encounters between people have been some of the key figures of our project. Of course, the pandemic-19 arrived, and it made it impossible for us to continue the physical encounters. So we had to try to innovate and find out different ways on how to keep going with this storytelling. And like that is how the MAX Diversity Film Festival was born. We decided to adventure and to create a platform where both amateurs and professional filmmakers could share the many and the very different stories of migrants about migration around the world. Our objective was to show the audience films presenting challenges, presenting inequalities, presenting discrimination situations, but also celebrating the power of multiculturalism, success stories of integration, and how communities come together united in diversity. We wanted basically to use the power of storytelling and the image, thanks to all the amazing films that the filmmakers have sent, to raise awareness about ethnic minorities that very often lack enough visibility in the public debate, and to create a space for disseminated experiences and testimonials that can offer a better nuance and more informative understanding of the very different realities that migrants around the world lived. So having said all this, I can assure you to our audience, Rachel, that we are enormously grateful for the great reception that our festival has had. When we started this in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, trying to figure out how to continue with this storytelling, we could not imagine that this exciting initiative we were trying to put together could achieve so much. And this for sure is the result of a lot of months of hard work by many people. So I would really like to thank enormously to all these amazing filmmakers that have been doing, as you said, Rachel, such an amazing job during this challenging period. So keep producing this film during the COVID-19 pandemic that has highly affected the cultural sector. And even though they were able to produce such high quality and touching films, I think that no matter who wins today, all these artists will be really proud of the work that they have done and that they have achieved. I would like also to thank the European Union, the European Commission, for funding this initiative, for supporting this kind of initiatives for migrant integration and for raising awareness. To thank all the MAX partners that have been doing their best to spread the word about the festival around the world. To our coordinator, Unite, to our colleagues from the ESIS in charge of communication. To my colleagues in ADL, I would like particularly to thank Julie de Galar from the amazing job she has been doing behind the scene of this festival, managing everything at all times. A big thank you go to the 10 jurors. This a composition of filmmakers, producer, actor, journalists, who did an amazing, difficult job in assessing thoroughly all these films we have received. That impressive number that we saw in the video. We have to mention, it is very important, they have been doing this totally in a volunteer basis, just because they believed in the mission of our festival and in the power of culture to change things. I would like to thank the platform, the Foundation Everywhere, for running this nice ceremony with us. And again, thank to all the candidates for believing in our project, for your availability, for being here, for raising awareness with the work you do about social inequalities and the voices of those more underrepresented in our society. Thank you. I'm going to close, but just before that, and then to give you the floor for the exciting part, I just wanted to share with you that we have here our 5 trophies waiting to be shipped to the hands of the winners. We are really excited and really grateful for being here. Good luck to everybody. Looking forward to seeing the words of the jurors that are here with us today, of our finalists, to get to know more about the films and to discover who the winners are. Thank you very much, and I send it over to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Patricia. Well, I can tell you all that Patricia and all her colleagues have been working phenomenally hard to make the Max Project and this film festival the success that it is. So I'm sure she'll be having a very large glass of something this evening with all our winners and all our finalists. We're now going to move over to the keynote speeches from the jurors, who had a very difficult, unenviable task of picking finalists and a winner. And I'm delighted to say that our first judge now joins us live. Cesar Diaz is an award-winning film director, scriptwriter and editor, whose 2019 film, Nuestras Madres, was selected as the Belgium entry for the Oscar for Best International Film. So I'm delighted that he's here with us today. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much for having me as some member of the jury. Actually, it was a real pleasure to watch all those films, and that really confirms my feeling that we need to use the image and the sounds to talk about very important problems and very important issues, and mostly also to share all these journeys from the migrants around the world. We used to forget that migration it's a right, and we have to defend it. And also all these films remind us, for me, that the important thing, that the thing that I keep in my mind is that all the stories remind that how this solidarity is a universal value, and then and that's very important also to defend it. So for all those reasons, it was a real pleasure to watch all those films and seeing all diversity of storytelling, of styles, how every filmmaker try to make put his point of view on this specific reality, and try to share it with us. That actually it's the kind of work that I used to do with my own personal work. So I think it's very important to have these kind of spaces, to also to spread the work of all those filmmakers, and to the winners and to all these filmmakers that participate. I want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing these incredible stories. Please keep doing it. And I hope that this festival will stay there, and it will have many other other events, and it will keep it like an event that stay there every year. So thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you, Cesar. Thank you for joining us and giving us your thoughts on that. As you say, these sorts of stories told by the people who are experiencing these kind of changes are now more than ever as important as they ever were. And now we have some video messages from 4 of our other highly esteemed jurors who could not join us live, but who wanted to give their thoughts about the process in selecting. They are Assunto Korba, Jakub Ozun, Silvia Lafuno, and Sahim Omar Khalifa. If you would like to read about their amazing bios, they are all up at the maxfilmfest.eu website. But I would just like to say that they are absolutely at the top of their game in terms of experience, their skills, and the recognition that their work has won. So we were very, very lucky to have all of these jurors as part of our judging panel. Let's go over and see what they had to say.
Hello, I'm Assunta Corbo. I'm from Italy, Milan, and I'm so happy to be here with you with this video to say you thank you. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your creativity and for the sounds, for the words, and for everything was inside your films. I really was honored to be a jury, in the jury, and to see your films, because I think that there's a great work behind a production. And I know that when we approach a new story, we have to be, you know, open and to listen to the story, to the voices, to the different point of view, and learn something. And I learned a lot from your films. So thank you. I'm very happy about that. You know, in Italy, I'm the founder of the Constructive Network, and is a network of journalists who believes in solution journalism, and was very important for me to see that around the world there are some professional filmmakers that were looking to solutions for big and small problems in our society. So good luck for the winner, and I really send you a big hug, and from Italy, bye, ciao.
Hello guys, this is Jakub, one of the jury members of the Max Diversity Film Festival. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for submitting their project to this film festival. This is already something. This is really important, because I know how to produce a film. There are a lot of enormous efforts behind that. You cannot do it alone. You need a team. You need to convince other people. You need to find budgets. So you need to have a good network. So it's really hard to produce something, to produce a film. I know that. And especially what is making this festival more special is its focus on diversity. As a person coming from Turkey and living in Europe for almost 20 years, in France, in Belgium, and also as a person who is married to a Belgian lady, so I know what diversity means and how important it is. Speaking about the European context, it is also important to build bridges between different communities. You know, there are hundreds of different communities living in Europe next to each other, and sometimes very negatively. So they live next to each other, but they don't know each other. They are so close, but they are far away. They have a lot of prejudices. They have a lot of negative images about themselves. They don't know the culture of the other side, the traditions, the mentality of the other side. And in that respect, I believe art and culture and film sector are playing a crucial role in that, to build bridges between different communities and help communities to understand the other side. So what is the tradition? What is the mentality of that side? What is the culture? Why this is important for them but not important for me? What is the reason? So in that respect, films, short films, feature film, it doesn't matter. They are playing a crucial role. And in that respect, what you are doing, what you have done, is really important. So that's why I would like to congratulate all of you for submitting your project to this festival. Whether you get the prize or not, it is really not important. So please go on doing that. Please go on. Don't let anything or anybody to discourage you. So you are on the good way. You are doing very important thing. So just keep doing and keep going. I wish you all a very good future, very bright future career. And I believe that if you show enough effort, if you have the motivation, if you have the determination, so there is no barrier of going further. So just keep going, and I believe you will achieve what you want in the future. Thank you very much again to the organizers, to all the participants, and I hope to meet you in person in the future. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sylvia from Denmark, wishing all the talented... Hi, I'm Sylvia from Denmark, wishing all the talented filmmakers congratulations with your great films. It's so important that talented people like yourself use your unique insight into telling these important stories, immigrant stories, giving voice to minorities, and thereby creating empathy with the audience. Empathy, which probably, to me, is the key thing in making this world a better place. So thank you very much. Bye.
Hello dear all, my name is Saim Omar Khalifa, one of the jury members. It was a great pleasure to be part of this festival. I would like to thank the festival organization for inviting me, and also all the participants for their fantastic movie. Yeah, Max Diversity Film Festival, it was really Max to watch all the films. It was really so beautiful. Thanks again, and I hope to see you again next year. Bye.
So there you have it. I think it says a lot about the quality of the films that were submitted when you have industry leaders such as our jurors right there saying things like, thank you, we were honored to be part of this, and that they learned a lot. So thank you again to everyone who submitted to this festival. Right, now for the really exciting part. We can move on now to announce the finalists and the winners of the 5 categories of film. Starting with the first one, the amateur short film category. If you need a reminder on how the voting worked, the films were judged 50% by the input of the jurors and 50% by the audience vote. And then the scores were totaled up and the winner was chosen. For this category, the amateur short film category, there were 5 brilliant finalists. Let's see who they were.
The finalists in the amateur short films category are Passing By, directed by Feline Anke, Duc Quang Le, Lisa Jane Albrecht, Joanna Geimer. The short film is a portrait about the young woman Dima who left her home Syria 5 years ago due to war and destruction. She tells us her story about arriving in Germany and starting a new life.
Wenn deine Familie nicht gut auch ist, dann man kann das auch nicht so gut genießen, auch wenn ich jetzt hier die alle Möglichkeiten habe.
Sanako, directed by Megan Hui Wen-tan and Clara Sofia Wallig. After the passing of her father, the relationship between her and her mother changes for the worse. With that going on, she is trapped in a physical and mental abusive relationship. Now, Sanako only sees one way out. Negrophilia, directed by Navid Shabanzadeh and Marco de Bartolomeo. 6 passengers from different social classes of contemporary Italy are in a night tram to reach their destinations. Everything is normal until they notice a young black guy leaning on the window is not sleeping but dead.
Esattamente come Pasolini. Guardalo. Guardalo. Guardalo lì. È il tuo Marcello Elisei. È la tua opera d'arte.
Near Our Border, directed by Martina Troxler. A Bosnian farmer reports witnessing violence at the Bosnian-Croatian border as Ahmad and his family try to cross the border daily, facing brutal attacks and illegal pushback by the border police.
Dođu ovdje, oni bi zvali taksi, nema novca. Znači, niko ne dolazi, istučeni, prisiljeni su da pješce idu, recimo za Kladušu. 25 kilometara, recimo.
Near But Far Away, directed by Ram D and Rahman Gibla. In the desperate quest of finding greener pasture, these 2 young men set on a journey of no return. They decided to migrate to another country to make their way to Europe, which is locally known to be Temple Run.
The address they gave us. I labor, they managed to get work for me in Guinea. They take my money. They manage for it, I can fuck 6-7 more. I don't get where. They manage now.
Wow, that was just a tape. If you missed any of these films, they are still up on the Film Festival website, so you can go and check them out. Now I have the absolute pleasure of announcing the winner of the amateur short film category is... Many congratulations for Sanako. I hope that we can now be joined by Clara, who is the co-director. Clara, how do you feel? And can I ask you, what does winning this award mean for you?
It's pretty insane because we had this film. It was such a small project and it was my first film ever, so it was like a huge deal, and we were just submitting it and we're like, oh yeah, if it doesn't go anywhere, it's not that bad. It's like the first thing ever. So this is huge, especially because even though Megan's not here right now, we put so much effort into giving people voices who don't have them. And I think personally, as someone who is very privileged within society, I think I am very proud to give people these voices, and I want to thank the entire cast and all the people we met throughout this film. This is really insane right now because I really didn't expect it at all.
Well, you're very calm. You're very calm as for somebody who didn't expect it. Congratulations. Can I ask you how you are going to celebrate?
Oh, I don't know if that was audible, but my mom is already celebrating next door. So I'm probably gonna, I don't know, get something to drink and then celebrate with my mom. I feel like the calm is just on the outside, and on the inside, it's all like, what is this? What's going on right now?
Well, I'm going to leave you to enjoy your celebrations. I'm sure your very proud mum has got lots of things planned. So congratulations again to you and all the team. And I'll leave you to enjoy your celebrations. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Wasn't that amazing? I feel like I have the best job in the world today, giving people all this great news. We're going to move on now to, and again, if you missed that, you can still catch the film on the website. So please go and check it out if you haven't already. We're now going to move on to the presentation of our next category, which was the amateur long film category. Again, as with all of these categories, it was a very difficult decision for the jurors to make. But we had two brilliant finalists for this category. Let's see them now.
The finalists in the amateurs long film category are I Am Not Upset, directed by Gabi Wondra. Entirely shot on an iPhone, using WhatsApp audios, the film throws a very poignant, private and helpless look at the pandemic from afar, when most of our beloved ones live in a country in which the social fabric is at the verge of collapse.
Melhor já, e aí eu lhe consigo acordar, tá? Também amo muito vocês. Beijo.
Nächste Station. Heidelberg, Altstadt. Aufstieg in Frankfurt.
Barcelona, a welcoming city, directed by Kristin Schuchart. In order to determine the extent to which the image of Barcelona as a refugee city corresponds to the realities of the lives of those affected by the European border regime, this ethnographic documentary focuses on the local political strategies that define and regulate the treatment of migrants and shows the precarious living situations of those who have come to seek more humane living conditions.
Tiene una estructura racista de raíz y tiene una estructura colonial de raíz.
Porque te das cuenta de que la mayoría de paradas e identificaciones por parte de la policía son a personas racializadas o migrantes y esas paradas no se cuestionan, ¿no?
Fantastic. And now I have the great pleasure again of announcing the winner. And the winner of the amateur long film category is... Congratulations to everyone who was involved in Barcelona, a welcoming city, a fantastic film. Please watch it if you haven't already. I believe I can now be joined by Kristin, who was a director. Hello, welcome, Kristin. How does it, and congratulations. How does it feel to have won? And yes, how are you going to celebrate?
Wow, to be honest, I'm overwhelmed. I'm in a set right now doing another project, and I kind of escaped from what I was doing currently to join you guys and to see the event. Wow, and I'm overwhelmed. I have to say thank you very, very much for everyone who joined, for everyone who voted, for all the people that have been part on this project. It's incredible, and yeah, thank you so much for everything. Oh, I'm speechless. Thank you so much, everyone. Honestly,
thank you for making the film, and I'm so pleased to see that you are still doing exactly what you're doing and so good at doing, and you've taken a break to come and join us. So congratulations again. Keep up the good work, and enjoy your celebrations, Kristin.
Thank you so much. thank you to all the team that is behind this festival. Thanks for this initiative. It's super important to do, especially that kind of festivals that you are organizing. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that we will continue. You doing the festival and us doing the documentaries, the same as Gabi, who did the other documentary, which is amazing as well. If you haven't seen it, have a look, definitely. And let's be in touch. This networking is super important. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Kristen, and enjoy your celebrations. How amazing and how great that these people are still continuing to do this kind of work in this kind of environment, which is not easy at all. So we are running a little ahead of schedule, I believe. So what I would like to do now is make an additional plug to go over to the Max Diversity Film Festival website, if you haven't already, and to have a look at these fantastic films, because it's not just the winners. I spent a whole day watching all the films, not just the finalists, but all the people who submitted, and they really are fantastic stories. I do not envy the judges at all, because they must have had a very difficult job on their hands. They're fantastic stories. They're told from the people who went through them themselves. And yes, if you have not seen them yet, please go over and watch them and share their stories if you can through your own social media channels and through your own networks and connections. We are running a little ahead of schedule, so I will propose that in a moment we take a little extended break. It was going to be 10 minutes, but it might be a little longer. And I would like to say, before we take a break, that we are going to launch another very quick poll. So while you are making yourself a cup of tea or a coffee or whatever, or a bowl of popcorn, I would like you to click on the polls button again. Again, apologies to those of you joining us on Facebook Live. And I would like you to tell us, if you don't mind, what you are thinking or feeling about the awards ceremony so far. It can be about the films, it could be about the jurors, it could be about the speeches, the winners, the aims, whatever you want. But if you could summarize it in one word, then when you come back at 4 o'clock from the break, then we can present a word cloud to you and present the results. So please have a think while we're on our break, and I will see everyone back here for the second exciting half, where we will announce the last 3 categories at 4 o'clock. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you are feeling a bit refreshed and have a beverage of your choice in your hand after that slightly extended break. Before we broke, I did ask you if you could vote in our poll and summarize your thoughts or your feelings about the ceremony so far, if possible, in one word. And I said we would bring up the results. So if we could just get the results. Oh, so there we have it. Amazing, inspired. I have to say that is something I felt very strongly after watching all the films. Powerful, joyful, lovely, positive, quality, united emotions. Everything is perfect. Wonderful. That's fantastic, because really without you and without an audience here and the people who voted for these films, we wouldn't be here today to celebrate these achievements. So now we get to move on to the third category. Remember, there were 5 categories in this film festival. We're moving on to the third category, which is the professional short film category. We had 5 amazing finalists for this particular category. Let's see who they were.
The finalists in the professional short films category are Dolapo is Fine, directed by Ethoshea Hilton. The film tells a story about a young black girl's relationship with her hair and name and how it helps her understand who she really is.
Baby, I'm a thought in the head, if I'm passing the head, and I feel like you could go down low. Give me sugar, you like any go, come on, get go low, you make a nigga hop on.
Strikingly Human, directed by Uta Arning. The film tells the story of Vian, a female activist from Sweden helping Afghan refugees. In Kabul, she meets those whose asylum applications have been rejected by the Swedish authorities. Vian is constantly confronted by the chaos surrounding her. Can one woman make a difference, or is it a helpless battle?
Jag sa att det sprängdes i förrgår. Vad var det?
Var det?
Ja, men på julafton att det var en explosion.
Nej, jag var där vägen. Jag vet inte mer i Köln.
Remember When We Used to Take the Train? Directed by Patricio Alfaro. This autobiographical documentary was made not with real archives, but with images that represent the distant past. Even though it takes place in London, the city becomes a simulacrum of Chile through a seemingly eternal train journey.
Siento que lo más cerca que estoy de Chile.
¿Por qué?
Porque ¿te acuerdas cuando viajábamos a la casa desde el centro en el metro?
Sí, me acuerdo.
Eso es lo mismo. Son estas pequeñas cosas que me hacen sentir algo familiar.
Invisible Borders, directed by Samuel K. Forrest. The film is about 2 brothers, Ebu and Nelson, who are hoping to reunite in Berlin after being separated crossing the Mediterranean Sea from Africa.
Me and my brother have a dream to come to Europe. But we were stuck in Libya for 1 year.
Henriette's Way, directed by Safia Kessas. Henriette is a young, undocumented single mother. For her own safety, she had to separate from her partner and lost the possibility of obtaining regularization. With her son, she now lives from move to move. In addition to the struggle for regularization and a healthy home, there is also the struggle for the recognition of one's identity.
Sois sûr d'une chose, mon courageux garçon. Tant que tu m'auras à tes côtés, tant qu'il y aura ces bras, mes bras, dans lesquels tu pourras inconditionnellement te blottir, jamais tu ne seras seul et jamais tu ne manqueras de rien.
Wow, didn't they all look fantastic? Whoever wins this category, in fact, for all the categories, I'd just like to take a moment to just say congratulations to everybody who submitted and everyone who became a finalist, because those films are amazing. And again, if you haven't watched them, go and watch them. They're brilliant. Okay, so now I have the pleasure of announcing that the winner of the amateur long film category is...
The finalists in the professional short films category are Dolapo is Fine, directed by Ethoshea Hilton. The film tells a story about a young black girl's relationship with her hair and name and how it helps her understand who she really is.
Baby, I'm a thought in the head, if I'm passing the head, and I feel like if we together go down low. Give me sugar, sugar. You like any go? Come on, get go low. You make a nigga happen.
Strikingly Human, directed by Ute Arning. The film tells the story of Vian, a female actress.
Congratulations! We got there in the end. Henrietta's Way. Congratulations to everybody who was involved in that fantastic film. I think we can now be joined by Marion Minery, who was...
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, congratulations.
Thank you. I have a small pitch, but a big French accent. It's real pleasure to be virtually with you, and we're very proud that your movie, directed by Safia Kessas, managed to convince the audience, and the whole members of this project would like to thank you for commitment and for the meaningful prize.
Thank you, Marion.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Marion. And please don't apologize for your accent, because if you were to hear me speak in French, trust me, you'd feel a lot better about yourself. Congratulations and well done on the film. Would you mind me asking what inspired you to make the film?
Henriette's devotional fight for these refugees to regularize undocumented migrants and to provide them earthly living really meant a lot for the directors. This movie was for Safia Kessas the opportunity to share and to support the recognition of the multiple identities of each individual. And Safia immersive way to accompany with her camera Henriette into her struggle to find a new shelter for herself, her boy, and this whole community demonstrates that the act of solidarity and still possible nowadays. And we hope that this prize will be the beginning of a long life for this movie, and its viewing will open the eyes of the audience, and maybe as Henriette's Way, it will give back to the refugees the recognition and they deserve.
Well, it's a fantastic film. I'm going to say it again. If you haven't seen it already, go and watch it, because it's absolutely brilliant. And if the film goes on to have any more success, please do keep us informed and stay in touch. Congratulations. Thanks. And enjoy your celebrations tonight.
Yes. Thanks.
Brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. I don't know who's more excited about all these winners and finalists, them or me. Okay, so we are now moving on to the final, no, not the final, sorry, the penultimate category, which is the professional long film category. We had 6 amazing finalists for this one, and let's see who they were.
The finalists in the Professionals Long Films category are The Inheritors, directed by Charlotte Diamant. In Brussels in the 1990s, people still dreamed of utopias and brotherhood between peoples. The film tells the story of 4 young girls from different backgrounds who grow up in this context and project themselves into a happy society. 30 years later, they gather around one of them who has become a filmmaker to try to grasp the political and social tipping points between the dream world of childhood and the turmoil of contemporary life.
Dans les médias, on parlerait aujourd'hui de mes amis comme étant issus de la diversité. Cette mixité consacrée par les politiques, nous la vivons simplement. Mais à vrai dire, on parle surtout des garçons. Et on rêve à ce qu'on va devenir dans ce futur qu'on nous promet meilleur.
Away Home, directed by Karima Saidi. After years of separation, the filmmaker renews her relationship with her mother, Aisha, now suffering from Alzheimer's. From Brussels to Tangiers, the odyssey of a family marked by exile is evoked through discretion and confession, pain, separation, grief, and joy.
شكون أنا؟
كريمة.
وأنا بنتك.
تينا بنتي.
ما نسيتينيش؟
لا.
Samos, The Faces of Our Border, directed by Shams Abu El-Enain. The film takes place at the border of the Schengen area, where international laws and conventions force thousands of people to live in inhumane camps. Focusing on the people in and around this migrant camp, built for 600 people and where more than 6,000 live now, it also gives an insight on the European politics that have led to this catastrophic situation.
They do not care about the conditions. They are not going on vacation. They do not book a shelter to come. I mean, these people make a decision that they might die.
A Family, directed by Christian Carmosino Mero. The film tells the story of Misa, Adama, Nafisa and Irene, 4 young Africans following a master's degree in innovation and rural development at the Joseph Kizerbo University in Ouagadougou. The film follows them on this academic and personal journey, entering their lives and narrating about an unusual and dynamic Africa, made up of tenacious efforts to change and improve their living conditions and those of their families and communities.
D'ici 5 années, j'aimerais quand même travailler à améliorer les conditions de vie des femmes.
Sweet Meadow, directed by Jasmine Price. The film tells the story of the artist Karim Awaj El-Kazmi, who is attempting to find stability and freedom within the restraints of everyday life. As he travels from one place to another, the enduring presence of a female gaze gradually reveals his deeper search.
Good.
A Day in the Life of Refugees, directed by John Lippman. Filmed by more than 75 news teams in 32 countries, the film tells the story of how Voice of America is mobilizing its entire network to describe how forced displacement affects rich and poor, newcomers and hosts, those who flee, and those who seek to stop them.
Around the world, dignitaries and refugees will mark World Refugee Day. A single day representing a worldwide crisis that on this day seems to be only getting worse.
Wow, I'm going to be saying that a lot for the rest of the ceremony. I can't believe watching those finalists again, and congratulations to all the finalists in that category, that again, filmmakers have come together at such a difficult time with their teams to produce such high quality work. I'm watching them again, I'm still blown away. So congratulations to you all. I now have the pleasure of announcing the winner for this category, and the winner of the amateur long film category is Congratulations to Samos, The Faces of Our Border. Congratulations to everybody who was involved in the fantastic making of that film. I believe we can now bring in the director, Shams Abu El-Enain.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you very much. That's amazing.
Congratulations. How do you feel?
Well, great. That's a great recognition. And it's so important for me that those voices are heard and that the message from the people that are in my film are seen by other people. So thank you very much for bringing those voices further.
No, thank you for making the film. Can I ask you, Shams, what inspired you to make this particular film?
Well, I think it was the shock of what I saw when I went to Samos, because first I live in Switzerland, and where I live, I hear on the news about migration. I hear what everybody and most of the people hear and know about migration. And I had the feeling that I had an idea of what's going on. But then my girlfriend told me, let's go help people there. So I followed her, not knowing where I was going. And when I arrived in Samos at the frontier and the border of Europe, it was just a shock and of what I saw and what I discovered there, of what was going on at the first stages of asylum-seeking people and how they were treated. And so I decided to answer the question I had and make a film during that time. So while I was answering those questions.
Fantastic. And are you going to continue? Well, I hope this award does encourage and motivate you to continue doing this work. Can I ask you what other plans you have in this area?
Well, first of all, I want to bring this film further and like to bring those voices. And that's my whole goal right now, is to really have the people see this and learn more about the situation and the condition and and how people are treated, but also how Europe is behaving and is handling this. And I think we need to stop being afraid from the right wing. We need to stop being afraid not being elected again. We need to have people take a stand for not killing, because that's what's at stake. People are dying in masses in the sea. And so I want my film to like help educate people and better understand and bring. So that's my main goal right now with this film. And I hope in a few years people will remember us and will maybe judge us as other people have been judged before for what has been done. And that's very important, because that will mean that we are again in a world where pushbacks and people dying is not okay anymore. So that's my main goal in the documentary field right now. And then I also have other side projects and other feature film projects that will be on my website and so later.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations again, and thank you so much for being a part of our ceremony today. Enjoy your celebrations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Isn't that wonderful to hear that the winners and the finalists are still going on to make more films and do more work in this area. And that has made my day. Right, so we are now at our final category, and this was the Audience Award category. If you need a reminder, this category was for all eligible participants who were not selected as finalists, but who we felt you should know about anyway, and you should have an opportunity to vote for if you enjoyed their films. We have 48 in this category. So without further ado, let's see who they were.
These films are the non-finalist selected films competing for the Audience Award.
So if anyone is stuck for something to do this evening, I would strongly suggest you make yourself a very large bowl of popcorn and you sit and you watch these movies, because they are as fantastic as they looked in that little short clip. Right, okay. Congratulations to everyone in that category. I now have the pleasure of announcing that the winner of the amateur, the audience award category, the audience award category is... Congratulations to Brazilians around the world and everyone involved in the making of that film. I think we can bring in the director here, Lady Turati. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm so happy to win this award. I wasn't expecting, so thank you. Thanks a lot. I'm really happy.
That's all right. We'll give you a moment to let the news sink in. Congratulations and well done. Lady, can I ask you what aspect of migration or diversity did you want to bring out in this film?
Well, I would like to tell a story before I begin, because I can explain to you all what inspires me to create this documentary. First of all, I would like to thank to everyone who voted, everyone, especially my friends from the LDRV Na Gringa. They helped me a lot with the voting. And I would like to thank all to Natalie, Pamela, Patricia, Julia, and Manuela for allowing me to tell their stories, and they shared with me their stories and experiences living as immigrants, and you are all wonderful women, and your stories inspire us all. So the story behind this documentary actually began 170 years ago, when the father of my great-grandfather emigrated from Italy to Brazil. And Costanzo Turati was searching for a better life for him and for his family. In 2018, I did the same journey as he did many years ago. I came to Italy. And I came to another country for the first time in my life, and this experience changed me forever. Changed me a lot. I wasn't prepared. Nothing prepared me for what was going to happen. It was intense and challenging and overwhelming. And my debut documentary, which is this one, was inspired by that. And I hope it will be the first of many to come. And I would like to thank you, everyone at Max Diversity Festival, for the opportunity and for bringing together all these amazing filmmakers, artists, and producers and directors. And I'm really happy, and I feel very honored to be here today with you all. Thank you.
Lady, thank you so much. I can tell that was well, it's a very personal thing for you, and it's amazing that you've got to share that with everyone. And I would just encourage everybody to go and watch your film, because it's absolutely brilliant, and your personal journey and your story really comes out. So congratulations again. Can I ask you one final thing? How are you going to celebrate tonight, because you are our final winner?
Well, I think I'm gonna take a glass of wine and maybe some Italian dish, some lasagna, I don't know, but for sure I will be drinking some alcohol tonight.
Right. Well, you drink away, and congratulations, and enjoy your success, and please keep us posted as to what happens with the film.
Okay, thank you very much.
Wow. Like I said, watch all the movies. They're absolutely brilliant, and share them widely, please. We are now very ahead of schedule. I don't know how we've managed to do that, but amazing. We have reached the end of this wonderful ceremony. Not quite the end, but we are nearly at a close. And so I would like to take the opportunity to thank you all for participating, for watching these amazing films, for supporting this incredibly important work that's been done at such a difficult time. If you have been as inspired as me, then please, again, share this work amongst your networks and your connections. It's really important to support this sector and these filmmakers at this very difficult time. In a moment, a link to the feedback form will appear in the chat if it hasn't already. If you wouldn't mind taking a few moments to fill in the feedback form, we would be most grateful to hear your views about the film festival. I would like to thank all the Max partners who have made this ceremony and who have made the Max project such a success and given filmmakers this opportunity, this important opportunity. And I would also like to thank, most importantly, the filmmakers who have submitted such an incredible body of work at such a difficult time. And I would like to reiterate again to you all, please keep doing the work that you're doing, because the world needs better stories now more than ever before, and your films are amazing. There is so much noise around diversity and migration right now, but very few of those stories cut through to tell personal stories, individual stories of people actually going through those experiences. It is so important. Watching all of those films, the one thing that struck me was the huge diversity of stories that are encapsulated in that one term, migration. So please keep telling those stories and making those wonderful films. Before you leave us today, I would like to flag two really important events that are coming up. On the 15th of December, there is an online reunion of everybody, all the filmmakers and the jurors, everyone involved in the film festival, to discuss and reflect on the awards, and also to discuss some of the issues that have come out of these films in more depth. That is going to be online. It's the 15th of December. So if you want more of the festival, then please sign up for that. The second event is taking place on the 25th and 26th of November. It is the final event of the Max project. It will be in Brussels, and it will showcase the achievements of the project, but also celebrate, it will be a celebration of diversity with some food and art and culture and music, and who can say no to that? So that is the final event of the Max project on the 25th and 26th of November. Put that in your diary. Thank you once again for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed this amazing showcase of talent this afternoon. I certainly cannot think of a better way to start the weekend. So on behalf of myself and the rest of the team here at the Max Diversity Film Festival, I would like to wish you all a very lovely evening and weekend ahead.